All right. Hello. Welcome to your flow, gentle stretch, a little bit of everything. Everything is offered at a place where you can take it up, take it down, make it accessible for you. So, whatever you need to do to take care of your body, at whatever time it is that you take this practice, I encourage you to do that, right? One of my teachers used to say, if class is difficult, or if you leave class thinking, man, that was too hard, you're right. Or if you leave thinking it was too easy, you're also right. So it's kind of learning how to take control and steer your own ship within the respectful boundaries of the class that's being offered, right? Doing what you can, but not pushing yourself too far, but also every once in a while when it's just feeling uncomfortable, staying the course and not throwing in the towel, right? And it's such a hard line to dance, and I get that. It happens to me all the time. But that's my invitation to you this morning. We're not going to do anything super crazy, right? But if you feel like you need a little bit more movement, take vinyasas, do the thing, the chaturanga, up dog, down dog. If you're like, I did not come here for that, then don't do it, right? It is very, very simple, very simple. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard sometimes, because simple sometimes also means we got to get out of our heads and just take it where it's at. So if you want to follow along on my playlist on Spotify, I will put that in it is Journey into the Mind. And it's an older one that I kind of revamped. So you might have to search for it. It's going to be much farther down. So, oh, and it says Journey into the Mind, GW, stands for Gentle Waves, for an old studio. Anyways, let's do this. Go ahead and start your playlist. And then let's find ourselves in Supta Baddha Konasana. So your supine butterfly pose. Lie down on your back. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Let your heels come in towards your sits bones. And then your knees will hang comfortably open. You have the option to have a couple of blocks. I don't have mine out today, but I took them to a private client and then I forgot to get them out of the car. It's all good. But if you have blocks, you can slide them to the outside of your thighs or even your knees. And then just let your upper back find its way into a comfortable position. You're going to feel some pressure probably of the backside ribs as you lie down on your back, right? It's just naturally what occurs. And then your hands can be on your belly, or you could even take your hands down next to the side body with your palms facing up. Just find a place where you can tune into your physical and energetic bodies, where you can drop into your practice and step out of your day, right? I know it's only, well, Central Standard Time, it's 8 in the morning. I know I've got people from all over, so whatever time it is, you could have already lived a whole life, right? I'm going to tell you, the elementary carpool line, that was one life today. So there you go. Close down your eyes, relax your brows, wiggle your jaw from side to side, and then let it go. Now slide your shoulder blades slightly down and toward one another. They're not going to come to touch. That's not the purpose, but it is going to allow your heart space to lift up a little bit higher naturally. For the knots on the fronts of your shoulders to roll back and down away from one another. Your clavicles will broaden. There is a slight sway to your low back. It's going to feel like a baby arching away from the mat. That's just the natural curvature of your spine, and it's all good. And then wherever you are in your breath cycle, go ahead and exhale completely. And then inhale through your nose. Allow for your belly to expand, for your rib cage to open, for your heart to rise. And then exhale, empty it back out, releasing, letting it all go back down to the ground. And then you inhale, the breath travels all the way up your spine. And you exhale to empty, to release, to let it go. And if at any point the knees being open is too much, you just bring your feet to the floor and point your knees to the sky and press your low back to the ground. None of this has to be perfect, y'all. Just honest. And then even out your breath so that your inhale and your exhale match both in duration and intensity. Passing into the Samavriti Pranayam so that the breath takes over the entire body. This is how we want to practice, even in a gentle flow, even as you're stretching it out. Breathing in, you know that you're breathing in. And breathing out, you know that you're breathing out. So by creating this mind-body connection, by really tapping into your breath, you can be open to receive the feedback from your body, the feedback from your surroundings. You can quiet down the noise so you can hear the true message. And I know it sounds hippity-dippity, y'all, but it's the truth, right? When you don't know what's really emanating from within you, how can you possibly understand and digest and take in everything else that's coming at you from the outside, right? We first have to move from within so that we can then conscientiously, intentionally move out. Bring awareness to your right side body, your right hip, your groin, your inner thigh, your low back, all that stuff. And then take that same awareness over to the left side. And then slowly draw your knees together. Give yourself a moment. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Release out of your low back. Good, y'all. Now let your left foot come down to the ground. Your knee stays bent. Inhale here. If you have a strap and you want to use it, loop it around the ball of your right foot. It's not necessary though. On the exhale, straighten your right leg up to the sky. You could just interlace your hands around your right thigh. But if you want the strap, use it, right? And there can be a soft or a deep bend into your right knee. Draw your right thigh bone in towards the frontal right ribs. Keep your shoulders back and down. And then perhaps you slide your hands up towards the calf. Draw your leg in a little bit more. Roll out the right ankle. Breathe in here. Now, if you do have the straps, you're going to probably take both ends of the strap into the right hand. And on the exhale, find a half happy baby. Otherwise, you can loop peace fingers around your right big toe or take your right hand to the outer arch of your foot as you draw your knee towards your armpit and your thigh towards the ground. Now notice that if you pull down a little bit too much, the left hip is going to lift up and away from the mat. Try to pull it back down. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, release. Let your right ankle cross over your left knee. Slide your right hand towards your right inner thigh, and you press your right knee away from you for a moment. And notice how that creates some space in all of the musculature and the fascia around your right hip socket. You can stay right here, or on an exhale, take a reclined pigeon. Interlace your fingers around your left hamstring. Draw your left thigh in towards your chest, and then nuzzle your right forearm to your right inner thigh. Breathing here. We're not staying for long, just enough to kind of wake up the body. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, keep the cross of your legs, but drop your left foot back down to the floor. Inhale, open your arms out to a T. And then exhale, drop your knees to the left. Turn your face to the right. Just get a figure 4 spinal twist here for a moment. And then on the inhale, draw your knees back through center. On the exhale, unravel, hug both knees in towards your chest. And then let your right foot come down to the ground with the knee bent. Low back roots down into the earth. And then when you're ready, either loop the strap around the ball mount of your left foot or just press your left foot into the sky, interlace your fingers around your hamstring, roll out your ankle. Draw your left thigh bone in towards your rib cage. Relax your shoulders. Your chest is still slightly proud. And then you could slide your hands up towards your calf. Draw your leg a little bit more in. Did y'all hear my elbow? All right, take one more inhale. If you've got the straps, take both ends into the left hand. And then on the exhale, half happy baby, bend into your left knee. If you don't have the straps, either peace fingers to your left big toe, left hand to the inner or outer arches of your foot. Breathe into your left hip. Again, I know we say a lot of stuff in yoga that sounds ridiculous, for lack of a better word. It just sounds ridiculous. But if you can really, with the eyes even closed, all of your focus onto your left hip and breathe in, and you're focusing on your left hip and breathe out, I think you'll notice a difference, a shift, and it might be so small, but it's there. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, release your left foot, cross it over your right knee. Ooh. And then slide your left hand into your left inner thigh. Give yourself some space. Open up through the left hip. You breathe. You can stay right here or exhale. Hug your right thigh in towards your chest. There's a baby flex to both feet, so you're supporting the knees here. And then a little nuzzle of your left forearm into your left inner thigh. Take one more inhale, draw your right thigh in a little bit closer maybe, and then exhale, place your right foot down on the ground. Inhale, open your arms to a T. Exhale, drop your knees to the right and turn your gaze to the left. And then on your next inhale, draw yourself back through center. On the exhale, unravel, hug both knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. Maybe bring your forehead up to your knees. Tuck your chin. Inhale here. And then exhale, let your head and shoulders come back down. Spinal rocks and rolls, the length of your spine, forward and back. Keep your low back rounded. Your navel in towards your spine. And then you maybe do 2, 3, 4. If you're like, man, this feels amazing, do a couple. If you're like, I don't feel like that today, just do one. And then let's find ourselves in a seated position, ankles crossed. Stack your shoulders over your hips. And then with your inhale, reach your arms out and up. On the exhale, interlace your fingers. Flip your palms towards the sky. Your biceps frame the ears. Opening up through the armpit area, through the webbing of your fingers. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, round your upper back and take your palms forward. Tuck your chin. So you're opening up directly behind the heart space. And then you inhale, lift it back up. And exhale, press your palms forward, arch your upper back, tuck your chin towards your chest. Last one, inhale. And exhale. And then you inhale, lift it back up. Release the fingertips, reach your hands to the sky. Exhale, twist to the right. Your left hand finds the outside of your right thigh. Your right hand drops behind your right hip. So it's a seated twist. Now with the inhale, your right arm is like a second spine. Lengthen your spine. On the exhale, twist over to the right just a little bit more. Inhale, rotate back front and center. Reach both arms high. Exhale, twist to the left. Your right fingertips find your left thigh. Your left hand drops behind the hip. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Roll both shoulders back and down. And then exhale to twist a little bit more. Whew. Good, y'all. I feel this all the way up into my neck today. And then on the inhale, right back front and center. Reach your arms high. On the exhale, bring your hands down. Let's find all fours. I'm going to shimmy back a little bit and draw my blanket back. You don't have to have one. I say this kind of every week, I feel like. My mat is thin and the floor is hard, and my knees are my knees. So I just bring them onto something a little bit softer. So stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Now spread your fingers out wide. I'm going to go and take the sweater off. And then with your inhale, drape a soft belly down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. So just traditional cow pose. Press your heart between your upper arm bones. And then on the exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine, and let your head hang down. Inhale, take a sway to the small of your back. Lift your tailbone, lift your sits bones, and then on the exhale, reverse your movement. Dome out your upper back as much as you can. Really separate out your shoulder blades. And let's take one more. Inhale, belly down, gaze up, heart forward, and then exhale, navel to your spine. Let your head hang down. Inhale, come back into your neutral spine. Now on the exhale, I want you to tuck your toes underneath you, sit your hips back onto your heels, and bring your shoulders over your hips. You might have to pull your pinky toes out from underneath your fourth toe, and then just stretch out your feet for a second. Slide your knees forward, and then maybe your hands come to heart center, and you tip your chest back slightly. You're also going to get a stretch on your quads. Before we get up to standing and moving a little bit, just coming into the body slowly this morning or whenever it is, right? And then when you're ready, come back onto all fours. If you need to roll out the ankles, go for it. And then take the tops of your feet down. Sit your hips back onto your heels. Walk your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders back and then puff up your chest. Now, you might bring your feet all the way together. And then some of you might even lift your knees, right? You're going to really stretch around the ankles and the tops of your feet here. Breathe. And then slowly with control, bring your knees and your shins back down. Walk yourself back forward. And then curl up your toes. Even though this is a somewhat gentle practice, I want you to focus on that space between your navel and your pubic bone and creating heat there and moving from that space, that intuitive, subtle energy. So take an inhale, curl up your toes, and on the exhale, lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Let your head hang down. Press your chest in towards your thighs. And then notice if the heels are still really lifted, that's fine, right? It's all good. If that's the case, go ahead and lift them. Take a bend to your knees and press your chest onto your thighs and really lift your tailbone up. And breathe. And from here, deep breath in, soft bend to the knees, gaze forward. And then exhale as many or as few steps as you want to take to bring your feet to your hands at the top of your mat. I'm going to go ahead and take my feet about hip width distance apart. On the inhale, bring your fingertips to your shins. Take your tailbone back and the crown of your head forward. Stay right here for a second. So really feel the table topping of your spine. No creases in the back of your neck because the crown of your head reaches forward. And on the exhale, ragdoll. Deep or soft bend to your knees. Grab opposite elbows. Sway it out if you like, or be still. And then let your hands come back down to the ground. Exhale completely. On the inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Perfect. And then on the exhale, let your left hand come down and reach your right arm up and over. So get a deep right side body stretch. And then inhale, take both arms high. And exhale, your right hand comes down, your left arm reaches up and over, watching the low back. If this feels tender at all, you're going to take the top of your pubic bone and draw it up towards the navel. Inhale, bring both arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Let your chest just drop down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, step your left foot down, back, and place your left knee down. So your right knee is a 90-degree bend, but you're going to catch a diagonal from the left hip side to the knee. Now press down into the big toe ball mound of your right foot and energetically squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. With your inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Salamba Anjaneyasana, your supported crescent lunge. With the exhale, just stay right here. Feel your pelvis as it softens down and forward, but with control. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, interlace your fingers again and flip your palms towards the sky. Now inhale, get long. On the exhale, take your wrists slightly towards the right, so stretching through your left side body. Breathe here. Just take a side bend, so you're kind of reaching your arms towards the right. And then on your inhale, come right back through center. Remember that soft space between your navel and your pubic bone. You're still pulling that back to support you. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground, nice and easy. Shift yourself back. If you have your blocks, they're on either side of your right leg. Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split. Flex your toes back towards your shin, and then spin your navel towards your right thigh bone so that your right hip starts to slide back, left hip forward. And then lead with your heart. All right, y'all. On the inhale, walk yourself back forward. On the exhale, bring both hands to the inside of your right leg, your right foot. So it's like a low lizard lunge. Give yourself a moment here. Let your left hip dip down and forward. Stretch it out. You might even draw your left shoulder slightly forward. Feel that movement through your left psoas. Perfect. Now from here, square your shoulders back off. Lift your left toes. Spin them towards the long edge of your mat. So towards the right side of the room. You're coming into a modified side angle pose. So your right hand goes down, reach your left arm to the sky. Breathing here. Good, y'all. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, let your left hand come down. Now, option to stay right here if this feels good. If you want to get more into the back, you're going to walk your hands over towards the left corner of your mat and then walk your arms out like you would for a downward facing dog. So I know this isn't the best angle for the camera, but it's the best I got. Good, y'all. Breathe. And then walk yourself back nice and easy. Spin back towards the top of your mat. Hands come to the inside of your right foot. Left toes move towards the back. Now heel toe your right foot towards the center of your mat. Inhale, curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. On the exhale, just step yourself back to downward facing dog and sway your hips out for a moment. All right. So from here, take your right foot and cross it over your left knee or thigh. So coming into a figure 4 down dog with your right knee bent, your left leg is your base. Just breathe here for a second. Press your chest in towards your thighs. And then release it out. On the inhale, take a soft bend to your knees. Gaze forward. Exhale as many steps as you want to take to get your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale to fold yourself down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms out and up. This time on the exhale, drop your right fingertips in between your shoulder blades. Left hand grabs your right elbow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hinge to the left. Really get into your right tricep. Breathe. And then inhale, take both arms to the sky. Exhale, your left hand drops between the shoulder blades. Right hand finds your left elbow. Inhale to lengthen. And then exhale, hinge to the right. Inhale, right back through center. Exhale, fold at your hips. Let your head hang. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Soften your right knee down. Give yourself that moment. Checking everything out. So your left knee bends to a 90 degree, and there's a diagonal with your right hip to thigh, all that good stuff. Give yourself a second. And then inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Stay for the exhale. Feel it out. Pull the soft skin between the navel and the pubic bone back. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, flip your palms towards the sky. And then exhale, hinge over to the left, getting that side bend now on the right side body. Breathe. Notice how whenever you breathe deeply, the right side rib cage fans open. It gets into your intercostals. Your right side lung expands to full capacity, but the left side lung has to contract. It gets a little bit smaller to create all of that space since you're bending into the left side. On your inhale, come right back up through center. On the exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Shift your hips back and take your half split. Flex your left toes back towards your shin. And then flare your tailbone towards the back of your mat. Keep your deep and even breathing. And then on your next inhale, walk yourself forward. On the exhale, both hands to the inside of your left foot. You might have to heel toe your left foot over. And then let your hips soften down and forward for a moment. Maybe pull your right shoulder, right hip forward. Awesome, y'all. And then we come back through center. Now lift your right toes. Spin them towards the long edge of your mat, so the left side. You're in this supported or modified side angle. Your left hand is down either on a block or just to the earth on the inside of your left foot. And then reach your right arm up to the sky. Breathe. And then when you're ready, your right hand comes back down to the ground. You can stay right here or walk your hands towards the right and out, and then drape your chest down like you would a downward facing dog. And let your forehead come down. And then you'll walk your hands back nice and slow. Spin your toes, your right toes towards the back of your mat. Bring your hands back under your shoulders at the top of your mat. Heel toe your left foot to the center. Now curl up your right toes, lift your right knee. And then exhale, step your left foot back, lift your hips. And then press down into your right foot. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Flex your left foot and find that figure four down dog. Breathe. And then place your left foot back down on the ground. And slowly take an inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward. And then exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. Turn your all 10 toes towards the long edge. And then you're going to slightly pigeon toe or at least parallel your feet to the long edge. On the inhale, reach your arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, bring your hands down, and find Prasarita Padottanasana, your wide leg forward fold. Now, once your hands come down, inhale, lengthen your spine, take your crown forward, your tailbone back, and then exhale, slide your ribs in between the thighs. Slide your hands back, maybe fingertips, toe tips match. Bend the elbows, point them back, and then start to lift your tailbone, lift your hips. Now you have the option to just stay right here and breathe. If you would like a little bit of movement, you can inhale, press your palms down, lengthen your spine. I would walk my hands back forward a little bit. And then exhale, spin your toes to the right, slightly bend into your right knee, drop your hips down. Inhale, lift through center, spin the toes slightly towards the left. And then exhale, bend into your left knee, straighten the right. Just moving side to side at your own pace. If this is something you need, if you're like, I really just need to hang and stretch my hamstrings, do that. Otherwise, we're here, moving a little bit side to side to get some fluidity and some mobility into the hip joints, the groin, the inner thighs, all that good stuff. And then at some point, we all inhale, we're right back in center. Everyone lengthen your spine. Exhale, walk yourself to the top of your mat, and then step your left foot back to your downward facing dog, pedal out your feet. And then inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. Find your free leg dog. On the exhale, bend your right knee, stack your hip, and then you can circle it out if you'd like. One more inhale, lengthen your right leg nice and long. And then exhale, step your right foot all the way through. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Inhale to bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. So we've been here before with the back knee down. Take an inhale here. Really root down for the exhale. Now inhale, interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards the sky. Exhale, hinge over to the right. Firm up your inner thighs. This is what's going to keep you lifted as you keep breathing. Take one more inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lift yourself back up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Straighten through your right leg and let your left heel go flat. Option to have blocks on either side of your right foot, so pyramid pose. Pull your right hip back, your left hip forward, and press down into the big toe ball mound on your right foot. Those of you with balance is really strong today. You can take your hands back and you could even interlace your hands around your left leg. And breathe. Now when you're ready, release your hands back. Wiggle your left toes back to the back of your mat. Let your left heel go flat. Angle your left toes slightly inward. Bend into your right knee. Inhale, windmill open. Find a warrior two, just here for a moment. And then exhale, let your right forearm come to the right side or right hand to the ground, and then reach your left arm all the way up and over. Circle out your left arm if it feels good. And then you inhale, come right back up into warrior two, gaze to your right hand. Exhale, windmill your hands down, frame your front foot, parallel your left toes, bring your left knee down. Heel toe your right foot over. Let's find our half pigeon. Slide your left leg long behind you, or take this on your back like we did at the beginning of our practice with your right ankle over your left knee. Now options here. Your right shin could be up to parallel with the top of your mat, or your heel could be all the way in towards your pelvis or anywhere in between. And then as you are ready, you just let your torso drop down. Relax your brows and your jaw. Notice what your shoulders, your traps, all that good stuff are doing. And if they've started to brace for impact, my invitation to you is to Systematically move through those places in your body and breathe there. Be with them and soften them. All right, y'all. Slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. Inhale to lift your chest. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. Now on the inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. On the exhale, bend your right knee, circle it out. And then inhale, re-lengthen your right leg. Exhale, step your right foot outside of your right hand. Now I'm going to give you this option here. You can take it or leave it. Your left knee comes down. If you just want to hang out for a second in a half lizard split, so a half diagonal split, you're going to shift your hips back and straighten through your right leg. Flex your toes back towards your shin, but your arms are on the inside of your right leg. It's different. If you want a full diagonal split, I'm going to have you shift yourself back forward. Your right toes are out at a baby diagonal, and then slide your right foot out and drop down. Breathe. And then press down into your palms. Shift your hips back if you came into the full. And then we all inhale, rebend the right knee, curl up your left toes, lift your left knee. Just step it back to your downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Hips high, hearts low. And then you inhale, take your left leg up to the sky. On the exhale, bend your left knee, stack your hip, yawn it open, move it out. And then inhale, re-lengthen your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Stay on the ball of your back foot. And then inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips. Arms up over your head. Root down with your exhale. Now inhale, interlace your fingers. Flip your palms towards the sky. And then exhale, hinge over to the left. Get that deep opening through your right side body. Breathe. And then on the inhale, lift yourself back up. Exhale, release your hands. Bring them down to frame your front foot. Bump your back foot slightly forward. Straighten through your left leg. Pull your left hip back. Your right hip forward. And then navel to your left spine. Let your head hang. Option to have hands on blocks. If balance feels amazing today, remember you can always take your hands back and interlace them around your right leg. And then you breathe. And when you're ready, let your hands come down. Wiggle your right toes back. Let your right heel go flat. Right toes angle slightly inward. On the inhale, lift yourself up. Open up to your warrior two. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lengthen. And then exhale, left forearm to your left thigh or hand comes down and you reach your right arm up and over. Breathe. We're not here for long. And then you inhale, lift. Go ahead and flip your left palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Parallel your back toes, soften your back knee to the ground, and then heel toe your left foot all the way over. Let your right leg extend long. Again, you can take this on your back. Make it appropriate for you. And then left shin is either parallel to the top of your mat or not. Heel could be all the way in towards your pelvis. Lengthen your spine, come down. And let your right hip wrap forward like a headlight. And then start to slide your hands back underneath your chest. Inhale to lift. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. Float the left leg high. Bend your left knee. Stack your hip. Circle it out. And then same thing. Lengthen your left leg. That's your inhale. Exhale, step it outside of your left hand. And then bring your right knee down. So you're in this low lizard. Option to stay right here. Shift it back for your half diagonal split. But if that fits like a glove and you just need more, you take your left toe slightly out at a diagonal and you slide your left leg forward and down. Breathe. And then you'll take your hands back underneath your shoulders. We all shift back if we were in the full. And then inhale, walk it back forward. Re-bend your left knee. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Come down onto your knees. And then take your hips to your heels, child's pose. Forehead down. If your arms are fatigued at all, you can wrap your arms around your legs. Hands come towards your heels. And then slowly come up. We're going to find ourselves in a seated position, so get there how you get there. It's all good. And then, perfect. Let me slide this back a little bit. From here, take a C curve to your spine. Bring your feet down about hip width distance apart. And then roll down one vertebra at a time until you're flat on your back. I'm going to grab my sweater again. And then I typically do this at the beginning of a practice. But since we've worked through the hips and the shoulders and arms some, we're going to play with this a little bit here. So press your feet down. Knees are bent. Feet are hip width distance apart. You're setting up for a bridge pose. But we're going to take some bridge rolls. So bring your hands down next to your hips, palms face down. And then press your feet down and away from you. And lift your hips up at the same time as you float your arms up overhead. And then nice and slow, one vertebra at a time. Exhale, upper back. Start to float the fingertips to the sky. Middle back, you're curling your tailbone up towards your navel. And then you come down almost to your low back first. Your palms start to reach down towards the ground. And then your tailbone, your hips, your bottom. So inhale, curl the tip of your tailbone up first. So feel the tops of your frontal hip bones curl up towards your bottom floating ribs. That's the first step. So you're going to feel your low back flatten first, a lot. And then you press your feet down, lift one vertebra at a time. You're trying to section your spine. You can keep your hands down if that helps you. At some point, if you want to float the hands up, you can. And you're going to find yourself, at some point, the middle and upper thoracic spine start to lift. And then you take it down one at a time. And again, if the arms make it harder, because this is hard enough for me as it is sometimes, oof. Y'all know that my spine is like the tightest part of my back, or my whole body, right? So I'm gonna leave my palms down for this last one, and I'm gonna really focus on curling the top of my pubic bone up towards my navel so the tailbone is lifting. And see if you can feel one rib at a time peel off of your mat. It's okay if the answer is no, y'all. We're practicing this. We're planting seeds, trying something different, something new, possibly something you don't like. And then one at a time, they come back down. See if it can really be your bottom that's the last thing to touch the floor. It's so hard for me. And then uncurl it. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together. Heels into the sits bones, knees hang open. Breathe. Your hands can be placed on yourself or on the ground. And then bring your knees back together. Heel toe your feet out to mat's width distance apart and drop your knees towards one another so that you have a collapsed bridge. And then open your arms out to a T. Inhale, separate your knees. Exhale, let them both fall to the right. Turn your face to the left. Inhale, bring your knees back through center. Let your low back go flat. And then exhale, drop your knees to the left and turn your face to the right. So we're just going to windshield wiper from right to left. Match your breath to your movement. Do one more each side. And then inhale, come through center. Exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest and take a happy baby when you're ready. You can go peace fingers to the big toes or hands to the inner or outer arches of your feet. And then take your feet up into the sky. Roll out your ankles. Let's draw little figure eights on the ceiling with our feet. And if there's something else that you need to close down your practice, I really invite you to do so. Make it yours. I also invite you to move down to the second to last, or yeah, I would go to the second to last song on the playlist, Storm of Prayers, or Bursting Stars, Shavasana at the end. And then your last little bit of movement is to hug the knees in towards your chest one more time, and to bring your forehead up to your knees. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, extend your legs forward. Let your feet hang comfortably open if that's available to you. You can also prop your ankles up on blocks. You can bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. Anything at all. Find a space where you can move into it and be at peace. No fidgeting, no moving around. And if that means that you're seated in Sukhasana for a seated meditation, that's cool too. Now for your brows to soften, they relax, they fall away from one another. And then your jaw goes flat. And the bottom side of your body, everything that's touching the ground, it's rooted, it's heavy, it's grounded. But the top side is light, it's weightless, it can float, right? And taking one final deep breath that's controlled. And then open mouth side out. And then whatever breathing occurs in your body, let it be natural and rest. And if what you need is to be here a little bit longer, I do urge you to stay and just tune me out. Be as long as you can. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath, to wiggle your fingers, your toes. And on the inhale, float your arms above your head. Find a full body stretch. And on the exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. And taking your time, roll over to the right. And if when you press up into Sukhasana, you find that you could sit for a little bit longer, do that, right? Maybe even if it's 2 or 3 minutes where you just sit here and bask in the energy that you've created in this peaceful state and equanimous mind, I invite you to do so. All the work we do is to prepare us for this seated meditation, So if it's in your practice, if it's in your time frame for today, stay right here. It's my honor and my pleasure to be on the mat with you this morning, as always. Peace be with each and every one of you. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday or whenever it is that you take this. And namaste.